There are some videos going around on social media lately about builders canceling contracts from buyers that were under contract for one price and they either canceled altogether or they canceled after they gave the buyer a chance to pay the higher price and they refused. So we're going to watch two home buyers and what happened to them in the hopes to learn from their experience and for you to better be able to understand what's in your builder contract. Most builders contracts have a right for the builder to terminate. If you're under contract for new construction, you need to look at your contract to see what happens if the builder terminates on you. Do they have that right? Is there any penalty to them? And of course, know what happens if you terminate the contract. Typically, they are liable to keep your earnest money and maybe your deposits that you put down. But you have to be very aware. So let's go ahead and watch this first family. They were building a home over 16 months. So if you are under contract and you're under contract and the build is taking a long time, you should be concerned as to what could happen if the builder changes their mind and, increases your price or terminates your contract.
Were days away from moving into their forever home in Oakleaf, Texas.
It was a 4-bedroom, 4.5 bath.
Here it is, completed. They had movers booked, even bought a fridge for the kitchen. But 6 days before closing,
just unbelievable. Just unbelievable.
After the couple spent 16 months on the build, managed months of supply chain delays.
We were really patient with them.
And spent thousands in escrow and upgrade money. This text message changed everything.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Glacier Custom Homes, Kindred Homes, has decided to terminate the sales contract with you dated 12/15/2020.
The builder was backing out. A clause in the contract allowed them to cancel for convenience and put the house on the market. The new price, $300,000 more than the Brundages contracted to buy it for. Tracy, Donnell, and their 1- and 4-year-old sons were about to be homeless.
We're still in disbelief, really, to this day.
The couple is suing Horton Capital Properties, the parent company for Glacier and Kindred Homes. The lawsuit alleges the builder coerced the Brundages to sell their home under threat that the building project would not continue and in reliance that Glacier would deliver the final.
All right, so let's talk about this for a second. Over the course of their building, the builder realized either through their cost or just the market that they could get more for this home. They sold the house or put it on the market for $300,000 more than they contracted to sell it for originally. So they sold it for about $800,000. They had to be under contract with this family for about $500,000. So if you are in this similar situation where prices have gone up, they're selling these houses for more now, and you're under contract at a lower price, you should be concerned. You need to look at your contract in detail. I've done videos about, new construction beware, how to look at your contract. I've done videos with attorneys about canceling your contract. So you want to look at your contract and see, is there a termination clause for the builder? Can they terminate without penalty and get out of their contract? So in this situation, they didn't even give, at least as far as the story is concerned, they didn't appear to give the family even a chance to buy it at $800,000. And what happens a lot of times, do you even qualify for the higher price? That's a big difference. That's a big amount in mortgage payment. That's a big amount that they're responsible for. And they're not suing them because they terminated. They're suing because they are suing on the terms that they were coerced into selling their home to buy this home. So that's what they're suing for, because a lot of times these builder contracts are written in the builder's favor. They're not written in your favor. And you can't really get around not signing the builder contract and saying, okay, I'll do my own contract. But sometimes you can't add an amendment to these contracts. You can't add some stipulations if the builder feels like they need to do that to get the deal done. So it really is going to depend on your market and how quickly things are selling. Let's watch this other family, because in this example, they did give them an option to buy the house at a higher price.
Contract. It's a builder's cancellation clause, and it allows a builder to back out of a deal and then resell the home at a higher price.
My wife and I were looking to kind of move a little bit farther out in the country.
For Lane and Lauren Sharon and their 1-year-old daughter, it was supposed to be their dream home. In July, Lane signed a contract and put a $10,000 deposit on a new home in the Salina neighborhood. In less than a year, this was supposed to turn into this. But 7 months after signing the contract,
It was a stick-up.
Lane received a letter from the builder.
Pay us or, lose your home, lose your piece of the American dream.
In a letter from Our Country Homes, the company's president wrote, "This unfortunately is not an easy letter to write, but one that simply cannot be avoided due to the current market conditions." The company said because of the rise in material and labor costs that was out of its control, it was raising the price of Lane's home by 15%.
They lied to us.
Lane says when he signed the contract back in July, he specifically asked the builder's sales executive if there was a chance the price would go up.
He looked at me, straight in my face, said, "I can guarantee that Our Country Homes has never canceled homes before. We never will in the future."
Our Country Homes declined an interview, but told the CBS 11i team, as a home builder, you never want to be in a position to cancel the contract. But the company said when Lane would not accept the adjusted price, it exercised Section 11A of the contract titled Builder's Right to Terminate. The clause allows a builder without notice or without reason to terminate the contract. It's a clause that's in most new home contracts. But before a year ago, it was rarely used. That's not the case anymore.
So a couple of things that we can learn from this example is the builder's right to terminate without notice, right? Without notice and for no reason at all, they can terminate that contract. So you need to make sure that you're aware of this. I'm not saying there's a lot of ways to get around it, but I'm saying you need to be aware of what could happen, especially if you're in these longer term new construction contracts. And also, it does not matter what they say to you verbally. I've said this several different times. I've done some videos about this, like reaction videos about this in the past. It does not matter what they say to you verbally. They can say whatever they want to say. They can say, "We're going to throw in a pool and we're going to give you $10,000. If it is not in your contract, it does not count. If they're telling you something, so say they said, "Oh, we guarantee we would never cancel the contract," ask them to put it in the contract, and I doubt they'll do it. So you need to make sure that you understand completely that if it's not in writing, it didn't exist. It doesn't matter. It's very important that you know that. If you need a lawyer to look over your contract to see what rights you have, to maybe suggest some amendments or suggest some special stipulations, you can do that. But a lot of times the builder can just say, "Well, we're not going to sell the house to you. We'll find somebody else that's willing to agree to our terms." So you have to just be knowledgeable about it and know that this is a risk that you're taking if you're in some of these contracts and you want to try to close as quickly as possible. Because on your end, they don't have any problem when they terminate on you. They will give you your earnest money back. They will typically give you your deposits back. They'll give you all your stuff back, and they'll just put the house on the market, usually at a higher price, and sell it to somebody else. But on your end, you need to know what happens if you terminate. If you terminate, then they are not going to give your earnest money back. Typically, they are not going to give you your deposits back. So you need to make sure that you know what both sides, what the penalties are, and what happens if they terminate and what happens if you terminate. And again, if you're in a long-term new construction contract, you need to look out for those things and try to get this deal closed as soon as possible. Now, when we were in a more, seller's market, as we kind of get the market softening, especially with builders, they'll probably start doing this less, stop doing this, or start doing this more and less, right? But just be mindful of it again, because you never know, they might stop building in some subdivisions and terminate your contract that way. So you just want to be aware, and you want to try to close as quickly as possible on new construction. I have my notes. I'm trying to see. Please watch my video. I've done a video with a lawyer about terminating your contract, and I've done a video about new construction beware. You should watch those videos, and I'm going to link the full stories of both of these buyers so you can kind of hear everything. The reporters interview they interview lawyers for both stories, and the lawyers kind of say like what are their rights with these contracts. I hope this was helpful. Please put any comments in the comment section. Thank you. Please like and subscribe to my channel for new videos every week.